What's up? Welcome in. Hoge and Jahns with you. Packer week rolls on. Bears-Packers Sunday night at Lambeau Field. And we are missing Adam Jahns again. Kevin Fishbain is here. What's up, Kevin?
What's up, Hoge? Shout out to Jahns, holding down the fort for him. Doing my best Josh McCown 2 games in a row.
Again, you know, you're coming for him. There's starting to be a brewing controversy. Mark Carman's definitely in your corner.
Today, by the way, 8-year anniversary of that Josh McCown Cowboys game that we talked about.
Oh, wow.
Earlier this week, yeah.
You know what my favorite memory of that? Did he hit Marquise Wilson for a touchdown late in that game? Is that the game I'm thinking of?
He might have. It was 2013. So was Marquise Wilson healthy? Yeah, he was back by then.
There was some game, it was like a garbage time touchdown. Maybe I'm thinking of the game in 14 when they lost. There was some garbage time touchdown against the Cowboys at Soldier Field that either won me my fantasy league or won me my semifinal round.
It all comes back to Hoge's fantasy
Oh,
team.
it does. You know, because you're sitting up there and you're going, this game's over. And there was some garbage time touchdown. There's nothing better than winning a fantasy championship on a garbage time touchdown with some random player like Marquise Wilson.
Yeah, just ask Connor McKnight, who beat me with an Austin Tevin Jenkins garbage time touchdown. I've probably talked about on this podcast 17 times when the Bears played the Buccaneers.
See, and Connor listens to this. So now...
Well, Connor, I still hold a grudge against the Bears for not knocking down that meaningless Hail Mary in that game.
Which you should. Welcome in. We are rolling on without Johnsy this week. He's okay. Everything's fine. We're just moving ahead, which we've had to do a few times here. And you guys did without me last year at one point. So it's all good. Follow us at Adam Hoge. That's me, Kevin Fishbain, at K Fishbain on Twitter. And you should be watching us on YouTube, the YouTube channel. We have Zach Miller on the podcast today. Speaking of 2013, 2014, 2015 memories, Zach Miller, the former Bears tight end, will be on here to talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. He's got some cool things going on and obviously has some good Bears-Packers rivalry. He was part of the last team that won at Lambeau Field in 2015.
Caught a touchdown in that game.
That's right. So you want to check, if you want to see Zach Miller, you can watch us on YouTube as well. Read Kevin, Johnsy, the whole crew on The Athletic. TheAthletic.com/Hoge and Jahns is where you go to subscribe. You can read me at NBCSportsChicago.com. I have a story up on Tevin Jenkins and his whole road to recovery and what led to the back surgery that he opened up with, talking to us yesterday at Hallis Hall. So you can check that out. We'll get there actually here talking about that, but we should start, Kev, with the news, which we were expecting. We kind of hinted at this on Tuesday that Justin Fields is back. He is playing. His ribs are fully healed, according to Matt Nagy, although he still has some pain, as he mentioned, that he'll probably play through. But Justin Fields making this game more interesting Sunday against the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, we joke about reasons to watch, and I know Bears fans are going to watch no matter what. By the way, I had a mailbag question last week, which was, if you were a Bears fan, not a reporter, would you still watch the end of the season? Ooh. And I said, you're talking to somebody who set aside his entire Saturday afternoon after Thanksgiving to watch a 3-9 Northwestern team lose 47-14 to Illinois. So yes, If I were a Bears fan, I would. I'm the type of fan, like the teams that I'm a fan of. I am the orchestra on the Titanic. I will go down with the ship there. So, but if people are actually looking for a legitimate reason, it's Justin Fields, because everything is about him. This is a big moment for him on prime time in Lambeau Field, and I think too, Hoge, like, I don't know if Matt Nagy might have wanted to take this into Friday like he has before and wait. I think it's always better if it's like, as early as you can in the week who the starting quarterback is. You just go ahead and announce it. You get and Andy Dalton being hurt, Matt Nagy said didn't change anything, but I do think it, just knowing now Justin Fields is starting, he knows it. He can go into the week with all that preparation, all the reps, just puts him in the best position they can put him in to try to do something special on Sunday night.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Dalton being hurt, I think kind of takes the gamesmanship out of it, because we would have seen by the end of the day that Justin Fields practiced in full and Andy Dalton did not. And so, are you really going to go into like is Nick Foles going to play? Like, no. I mean, so it's Justin. It's good. It gives us something to watch and cover, and we're excited about that. And I think that some of the bigger questions are maybe, does Allen Robinson return? He was out there yesterday, limited, but he looked to me, and we only get to see the beginning of practice, so we don't get to see when they go into team stuff and that. But he was doing all the same things that the rest of the wide receivers were doing when we were out there. So that tells me he's getting closer. We saw last year Akeem Hicks. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago when Akeem Hicks was hurt. And he did everything he could to get back and play in that Packer game, which he probably should not have done. Played through pain. And then he shut it down after that, right? If I remember.
Yeah, and he had a great game, too.
Yeah.
He had a couple quarterback hits. He was, like, all over the place.
I remember looking through my binoculars. You could see, like, every time he made a play, he was, like, holding that elbow and was in so much pain. So it was a gutty effort. So we'll see if he can get back out there. All of a sudden, you add some of these guys, and maybe the defense gets a little bit of a boost that you need. The defense didn't play horrible last week. They need to take the ball away more. But you take those 4 takeaways out, it's actually a game against the Cardinals.
Yeah, you had the one bad play with Xavier Crawford misses the tackle, and James Conner made a once-in-a-lifetime catch, too, on that play. I don't know what Jalen Johnson could really have done differently on that touchdown. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, it was a veteran move. The way
it was good coverage. It was good coverage, and you got beat by a better receiver. Yeah,
Hopkins got one other target the rest of the game. So it's a hard game to evaluate because of the short fields. But to me, the problem was you had 0 quarterback hits, and as you said, 0 takeaways. Although I guess they later gave Robert Quinn a sack for that fumbled snap.
I'm annoyed by that, by the way.
Yeah, break it down.
Because they gave him a sack when it happened.
And then they took it away, right?
So I actually tweeted, that's Robert Quinn's 12th sack of the season, which is the second most in his career. I tweeted that in the middle of the game, and then I realized halfway through the game they took it away. So I went back and I deleted that tweet because I didn't want to have inaccurate information out there. And now they come back, and Larry Mayer gets the scoop. Oh, it's his 12th sack, blah, blah, blah. It's the second. No. Don't be messing. This is ridiculous. Well, who's doing this?
Larry Mayer.
I don't care if they gave him the sack or not. It was kind of a weird play. I don't know. It didn't really feel like a legitimate sack. He dropped the ball. He dropped the straight. Or is that the one where it slipped out of his hands?
I think that was the one where he...
I think he tried to throw it. It slipped out of his hands, and then he jumped on it.
More or less legitimate than Michael Strahan's record-breaking sack. I was watching Strahan on the Manning cast, and they showed that clip. And I was watching with my wife, and I was saying, like, this was his record-breaking sack. And she's like, that was it? Like, that broke the record? Favre just kind of fell down. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, Brett Favre.
It's Packers week. Had to find a way to get Brett Favre in.
I would say that Robert Quinn's was more legit than Michael Strahan's record-breaking sack. Yeah.
So anyway, but it does, to your point, I mean, you need everybody you can get if you're going to win this game. I mean, like, and we'll see what happens today. David Montgomery did not practice Wednesday, listed with 3 separate injuries.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, he's not somebody who, like, takes maintenance days. So that's something we have to watch. But again, you need everybody. And you have to give your absolute best shot if you want any kind of chance. And so if you get Hicks back, if you get A-Rob back, Marquise Goodwin was practicing, Damian Williams was practicing, which could mean a lot if for some reason Dave Montgomery is hobbled. Yeah, you need everybody you can get. You need Akeem Hicks to have like a 2018 Vikings game, right? Like you need somebody on defense to take over the way Khalil Mack has before. That's the way Tracy Porter did on Thanksgiving 6 years ago. Like that's what you need.
You got to take the ball away from a guy who doesn't give it up very much. So not going to be easy. All right, so Tevin Jenkins talked to the media yesterday for the first time since June 17th. Because that was the last time he was healthy. And actually, it turns out he wasn't healthy at the time, but he was fighting through a back pain that he was dealing with at that point in the off-season program that was veteran minicamp. And so he is now back from his August back surgery. He talked to us. That's the first time we've talked to him in person, actually, at House Hall. And I appreciated how kind of forthright he was about the whole situation. Now, like the Bears, he insists that the pain he was feeling back in the summer was different than what he was dealing with at Oklahoma State last year, which ended his season early. He admitted that he probably was trying to push through it a little bit too hard, especially when they got back training camp, because the plan, and I still go back to this, the biggest indication that the Bears did not think this was going to be a significant thing was that they did not put him on PUP to start, which meant that when they actually had the surgery, he had to go on IR. And to have him come back this year, they actually had to have him on the roster at the beginning of the season before they put him on IR. So that was a thing that I still go back to as like, all right, they really thought that they could treat this and it'd be okay. But then you hear Tevin Jenkins yesterday tell us that at its worst, he had quote unbearable pain shooting down his leg. So it obviously got really bad and they decided on surgery.
Yeah, and I know it was easy for Bears fans to come up with conspiracy theories about the injury based on, and I don't blame them based on the history we've had with this front office and how they handle injuries and draft picks and all that stuff. But maybe it helps verify that this is different. I don't anybody who's dealt with nerve pain. I mean, that is brutal, and it's for him to have gone through that. And Hoge, I'm gonna be honest with you. Once they announced the surgery, I had in my head, I'm like, this guy's not coming back this year. Like I didn't think he, not being a doctor or anything, just knowing offensive lineman, back surgery, like just those words together. I'm like, no way. So now he's back, and he wouldn't be out there if they didn't trust that he could play tackle in a whole game if he needed to. So I think it's positive, and it was good to hear from him, and as you said, hear him kind of detail that. And now the question is, what do you do with him? What do you do with him as the season goes on to the end? I think everybody wants to see him start, or even Matt Nagy kind of ruled out rotating series with him. Like that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So do you ask Jason Peters in week 16 and say, hey, we really appreciate what you did for us. Thanks for coming off the fishing boat, and returning to the game and he's been good. He's been way better than I think anybody expected. Do you ask him to say, hey, can we'll take the rest of the year off and let's let Tevin get in?
Well, the way you hear Tevin talk about Jason Peters, and guys say things and sometimes you believe them, sometimes you don't. Like I truly did believe yesterday when he was talking about like the silver lining of this whole thing is that he's been able to sit in that room with Jason Peters and learn as much as he has. Now he can't get his job back though because Jason Peters is there. I honestly think part of this is Justin Fields, and I think it should be. Like, on the surface, yes. Should the rookie that you drafted number 39 overall be playing over a 39-year-old left tackle at this point in the season when you're out of it? Yes, absolutely. You should get the development. But you also have a rookie quarterback, and a rookie right tackle. There's a lot going on there. And there's more than just Jason Peters being a reliable left tackle and keeping guys off of the quarterback. He is out there identifying defenses, seeing things. He has the type of experience that Tevin Jenkins just doesn't have. So while I do agree with the idea, just in a vacuum, that Jenkins should be playing over Peters, if that's at the detriment of Justin Fields, then I don't agree with it, because Justin Fields still matters more than anybody. So if you can get his feet wet, Jenkins, that is, get his feet wet. Another reason to just kind of be careful with this whole thing. Make sure the symptoms don't come back. Make sure his back's okay. Like, I'm okay with slow playing this. Also understanding that if an injury occurs, even on the right side, then you throw him in at right tackle. Or, I don't know, if one of the guards gets hurt, can you kick Peters or Borum or Jenkins inside? I think those are possibilities too. Peters does have some experience at guard. Just things to keep in mind. There's still a lot of football to be played.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I think that, we sometimes can overrate the whole getting advice from a veteran. But I think in this specific case, you can tell how much it matters and how much it could matter for him to continue to learn from Jason Peters, especially learning from Jason Peters now that Tevin Jenkins can actually go on the practice field and do it. Like, he can do the specific physical things that Peters is doing that he's learning. So, yeah, I'm with you. I just think that, like, it's weird the way it turned out like this, that Peters has played well enough that you kind of want him in the lineup as long as Justin Fields is your quarterback. And maybe it's just a finale. Maybe it's just a season finale. Maybe, Hoge, the plan for Justin Fields turns out to be the plan for maybe Tevin Jenkins is Patrick Mahomes in this scenario, and Jason Peters is Alex Smith. So Jason Peters, the veteran, he holds down the fort, does a pretty good job. Season finale doesn't mean anything. Then Peters sits out. Tevin Jenkins comes in. You're like, oh, all right, we're feeling pretty good. Next year, Tevin Jenkins is starting left tackle. He's throwing 5 touchdowns a game. Bears are going to the Super Bowl.
Tevin Jenkins is throwing 5 touchdowns a game?
I got my positions a little confused there, but you get what I'm saying.
I got confused listening to it, but I mean, that's the long play nobody was expecting, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Zach Miller to the podcast, former Media Good Guy Award winner, which I think is the most prestigious award you can get, certainly of the awards handed out by us. I think that's the one award handed out by us. Zach Miller, former Bears tight end, really good dude. And here he is. Time to talk some Bears and some other things with Zach Miller. He's Zach Miller, the former Bears tight end, rocking the Miller Lite Bears sweater. If you're watching on YouTube, and we hope you are, check out the YouTube stream. What's up, Zach?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
We're good. We're just, unfortunately getting through one of these, seasons where it's December and they're out of it again. And we're kind of used to this by now, Zach, but
we're not out of it. We're in the hunt.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that 1% chance of still getting
So you're saying there's a chance.
Well, Zach's doing some awesome stuff with Miller Lite this week. And which is perfect because of your last name. Is that why they go to you?
I think it was a pretty well-aligned partnership with them being the Bears beer sponsor and then the last name lining up. It might have just been meant to be. Plus, I love their beer, so
yeah,
it's a win-win for me.
Miller Lite has been a big supporter of this podcast too, and I remember we had those sweaters last year, or a different version or a close version, and so you are going to be out on Sunday. With Miller Lite, jumping around different neighborhoods around Chicago, right? South Loop, West Town, Bucktown, and River North. What are you guys going to be doing?
Yeah, so it is the Miller Lite. We're the Bears, so we got the Miller Lite mobile tailgate, and we're Bears play the Packers out of town, going up to Lambeau. So we're going to hang out in the city and turn it up. We're going, like you said, 4 different locations: South Loop, River North, West Town, and Bucktown. Is that correct?
Yes.
4 of them, yeah. So we're going to be hopping on there. We're starting at noon, and it's going to be a full day of bar hopping and having a lot of fun, handing out these sweaters, limited edition Bears Miller Lite gear, whole bunch of other Miller Lite swag that we're handing out, just throughout the day. So find those locations. They're all on my social media right now, and I think they'll probably will be a little more detailed map, maybe Saturday or Sunday coming out, but we're just moving around the city and going to have a good time watching the Bears hopefully beat the Packers.
I was going to say it's a bummer you couldn't just bring that the bus up to Lambeau after all that, because there might be some Bears fans in the stands there that could use a couple Miller Lights and a couple of nice Bears sweaters to keep them warm.
Maybe that is an addition for next year. For if the mobile tailgate goes well, maybe we start earlier, and then after that we make a little trip up to make the drive up to Lambeau. We could do that. We sell out the bus too. Yeah. Maybe we do that and we turn it into somebody's got to buy tickets to hop on there. So we'll see how it goes.
I'll jump on the bus.
Hell yeah.
Zach, all right, you know this rivalry well.
Yeah.
You know how it usually goes, unfortunately. And now we got this sort of added dimension to it with Aaron Rodgers saying, I own you, to the not even to the players, but to the fans in the corner of Soldier Field. So we've got kind of mixed results from the players and coaches so far this week about how much that really matters to them. As a player, how much would that have ticked you off and motivated you going into Lambeau this week?
It wouldn't have.
Okay.
I mean, listen, Aaron's had tremendous success against us and really at Soldier Field. And I don't think that was directed to anybody at, on the other side of the sideline that he's playing against. I know that was probably an emotional celebration with him in the end zone and going back and forth with the fans. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've done that in different stadiums with fans when you're on the road and having a good time. I don't think it's more than what it was, but at the same time, we gotta beat them. If we don't want that to happen, we got to go up to Lambeau and take that away from them. So for me, I didn't see anything, that would have made me pissed off as a player.
How about some more positive Bears-Packers memories? Let's go back to Thanksgiving 2015. You caught a touchdown in that game at Lambeau Field, and again, nobody on. I guess Pat O'Donnell's the only one I think on this team. Was on that team. Eddie Goldman. That's it. So, these guys who have been on the team for 3-4 years don't know what it's like to win in Lambeau.
Right. Is that the last time we won up there?
Yeah, that's the last time. I mean, what stands out to you about when you think back to that moment and that night?
Yeah. See, just like that was a big night. It was Thanksgiving night, correct? So you go up on a Thursday night. They're retiring Brett's jersey. And they did that intentionally for what the rivalry is. We're going to have the face of our franchise and retire his jersey here at halftime and make this big spectacle of it Thursday night on Thanksgiving. And what a way for us to go up there and ruin it. The weather was pretty typical of Green Bay crap. It was just raining and dark and cold. And the game went like down to the wire. I remember catching that touchdown in the back left end zone with Cuddy kind of escape a little bit, and me just popped out the back end, and I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And for us to sneak out of there on Thanksgiving, just what that rivalry means to both of our fan bases, and on a night like that where they built it up to kind of be something special for them. Obviously, it was pretty cool for us to win, but I mean, won there since then. It's been 5 years. we got to get one.
But that's an example, though, that again, I don't want to. It's not trying to build up Bears' hopes, but that's an example of anything can happen like that. I don't think anybody gave you guys a chance in that game,
right?
And you see what happens.
And I feel like that's just how the league goes, right? I mean, you never really know. Now you have your top teams this year who are playing pretty well. Green Bay is one of them, but that's why you play the game. And if you go in believing that you got a shot, and you believe that you can win, and you don't buy into the he owns us type of thing, you always got an opportunity to win, but you just got to make it happen.
I think one of the things we're trying to figure out right now is with the mindset of this team.
Yeah.
Is it like that was a new coaching staff that year for you guys? It was. I know you guys weren't having a great season, but you guys were fighting that year. You had that game in San Diego too, where you had that really nice, incredible touchdown catch in that game too, and it was kind of like a different vibe I think you guys had. Versus, like, I hate to bring it up, but 2014, which I know you were injured that year, but you were still around in the building. And I don't know. This team right now is maybe in the middle of that. I don't think things are as bad as 2014 as things were kind of falling apart that year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the writing does seem to be on the wall here with the head coach. What can you tell us about maybe 2014 where you were going through that? There was that awful game in Green Bay, and then everyone kind of knew what was happening, and things kind of started to spiral out of control with a lot of drama.
I think that was it, yes, the drama. You know, there was the internal stuff that was going on. You know, that we had some stuff that leaked out to the media, and there's a bunch of we were blowing up from within, right? Like everything was just getting torn apart. And I think that was probably the end all of it. Because the dysfunction, I think, kind of started to come to light. And I don't really know that, you know, where I was at in my career and had kind of just funneled into the team, was on IR that year. I didn't know how dysfunctional it may have been until some of those things started to come out at that point. And I don't think they're anywhere near that at this stage with Coach Nags. Listen, I haven't been there in the last year and a half, but when I was there, I'll tell you what, man, I walked across fire for Nags and that crew, just because, I mean, when he came in, everything was, you had this new aura around it and the energy and the excitement, but the way that he addressed the team and he spoke to players, I was like, damn, I'd play football for this guy and run through anything, just because I felt his energy and I felt the way he connected with the players. And I don't know if that's changed at this point. I don't know, but I know offensively at that stage, like the creativity that we had was fun. And it felt like everything at that moment for the first 2 years was just a very fun environment, and it was a creative environment, and it was a competitive environment. So when I was there, I mean, I had nothing but great things to say about that man. Now, I don't know where they're at now. I don't know what it's like internally for them. I know what I hear, and just, you know, what you guys hear through the media. And I think if they can finish these next however many games, new I think 17 game season now, so I don't know how many games they got left. But if you can go on a run, which if you're competitive and that's what you want to do, if you got a competitive nature, you plan on winning every single one of those. Now, if the cards are stacked against you, people are going to be like, yeah, you're crazy. But that's why you play the game. And there's still a chance. We joked about it earlier. If they got a shot, I think you got to step on the field with that type of mindset.
Well, and I agree with you. I think, you know, we covered 2014 too, and we're covering it now. I think there's definitely a significant difference. I also wonder though, like what did the McCaskies, what did Ted Phillips maybe learn from not firing Mark Trestman earlier in that season? Like, could some of that drama have been avoided had a move been made earlier? You were in there. I mean, do you feel like things could have been different?
Yeah, shoot, I don't know. I guess I never really even thought about that side of the coin. If you do it early, you know, do you get a jump start on the coaching search? I don't know if that like weighs in on it. I honestly don't know really kind of how that plays out. I haven't really even thought about it. Maybe it avoids some of that drama in there, but I don't think you have that with these guys. Like, I honestly don't. And thinking back to that crew, I feel like some of those mistakes, like they were owned, you know, like the people who said some of those things. I mean, they came out and said it. Now, I don't know, maybe that was intentional. Maybe it was a way to like, all right, I'm trying to find my way out of here. I don't know. I'm just kicking around things, but I don't feel like that's the makeup of this crew. You know, I feel like if the writing's on the wall for Coach Nags, which I honestly hope it isn't, he's gonna go down swinging. So we'll see how it finishes out.
For this year to be like 2014, you would need Bill Lazor to secretly throw Justin Fields under the bus, and for it to come out, and then Matt Nagy to bench Justin Fields, not even for Nick Foles, because Nick Foles is a lot better, all due respect to Jimmy Clausen, maybe for like Dave Montgomery to play all-time quarterback, and then you need Allen Robinson to challenge Seahawks fans to a fight before Christmas game. Don't worry, Zach. I'm saying all these things so you don't have to. So you need all that to happen to get to 20.
I kind of forgot all that. I kind of actually forgot all of that. So
I think we could all agree, though, that if 2014 preseason superstar Zach Miller doesn't get hurt,
it's a different year.
I mean,
that was that's preseason for me was like, all right, because I had been through so much, for the previous 2 years, and I was like, I worked my butt off. Like that was probably the best shape I had been in prior to that moment. Then I blew my foot out after. I mean, it was week 3 of the preseason, but I was having a run at it, and I was like, all right, we're finally back to playing some ball, and I'm gonna get this opportunity to show what I could do. And then got hurt again. I was like, damn it, back to the shelf. But who knows? I'm not saying I could have saved the day, but maybe I could have saved the day.
Zach, with your experience and your knowledge of the tight end position, and you look at a guy like Cole Kmet, who it just seems like has all the athletic gifts that you're looking for in that spot. He's coming off a tough game for him, and he'd be the first one to admit that. What would be your advice to him? Not just like bouncing back from that game, but I'd be curious just in terms of harnessing what he has. Like it's so early in his career. Like what kind of advice would you give a young guy like that moving forward?
Just to work, because he has everything. Like you said, he has everything, and I think he knows he has everything. But the patience at that position, especially for me, where I was coming from, because I hadn't played the position. So it took me a lot of time to transition into like, okay, I need to learn how to actually play tight end coming from where I was playing quarterback. So the mind frame for me had to change. He's done it for a while, right? So he knows that type of mindset that is required to play the position. Now it's just taking time and working. So he had a ball bounce off his chest the other day. We all know he catches a ball. He got great catch radius. He's got great athletic ability. I mean, solid for how he is built and how he moves. I think he has every intangible to be a great tight end. Now it's just work. And I'm huge on mindset, man. And I'm huge on, like, if something bad happens, letting it go and carrying confidence with you. Like, there was a point in my career when I was in Jacksonville, Mercedes was holding out, trying to get a chunk of money that was rightfully his. And so I was thrown into this spot where I had every single rep, everything just like handed in my lap. And I kind of really didn't take advantage of it. I caught a case of the drops through preseason. And I'm telling you, like, I couldn't catch anything. And I just kept working through it because I knew I could catch the ball. It was a mental game for me. And you can't let mental things play into it, because if you really know what you're about, I think for him moving forward, he'll be a solid tight end, man. You just got to put the work in and be patient.
What are your early impressions of Justin Fields so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think Justin's going to be a baller. You see his creativity and his playmaking ability. But like we just talked about with Cole, like you got to have growth. Coming from college to the NFL it's a change. It's a different game, and he'll get all that exposure with reps. And I mean, he's already got it, but he's only going to get better. And we got to protect him and take care of him. But I think where he's going to go, it will probably turn some heads here in the next couple of years. I think he's got every ability. He's exciting to watch. Fits right in Chicago, so it's exciting for the fan base, and I'm excited to watch him grow for his future as well. They got a good nucleus. Like, I mean, a good group of young players with him. Cole, I mean, you got Demo and Tariq. If he can bounce back, I'm not sure what's up with Allen, with A-Rob, Darnell Mooney. I mean, they got a group of people around him where you got something to build off of, and they're all, I'd say, a dynamic group of guys on offense. So I feel like they're going to grow here in the next couple of years.
So I want to touch on your music before we go. First, why don't you tell the listeners about your latest song and where they can find it?
Yeah, my latest one is called Torn Up, and it's out everywhere. It's weird talking about it because I never like really imagined this to ever be a thing. You know, I loved music growing up, and music and sports kind of cross over. You know, I feel like they go hand in hand. So I started playing when I got hurt, but it's weird to even be like, hey, I got music out there. It's a funny thing for me to say, but it's everywhere. It's on all the digital streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. I'm not sure. I don't want to date you guys, but you guys ever heard of Napster?
Oh, of course. We were the Napster babies.
The real thing.
Yeah.
So it's actually out on Napster. I didn't even know Napster was still a platform.
I didn't know that either. It is?
It's out there, man.
Okay.
So it's out. It's out everywhere. This last one I wrote was called Torn Up. Go check it out. That's my third single. So, you know, I'm just trying to steadily grow and kind of build a little catalog and kind of find out who I am musically. So I'd love it if y'all go give it a spin.
What's been the most rewarding part about this music segment of your life?
Honestly, it's just it's like the personal connection that I get with writing music. Because when I got hurt, I needed an escape, and I was sitting in the hospital bed for, you know, damn near 2 months, in the hospital for a month, and then they brought a hospital bed to my house, and I laid in that just because I needed that type of support. And I just didn't want to be there, so I had to escape somewhere, and I just started writing. And I never really thought it would turn into anything, but it did. And I fell in love with the process and the creativity of, you know, putting pen to paper and reliving these moments or going somewhere else in my head. And that's really what the connection was for me. And I was so scared to put it out because it's such a personal thing. And if people hate it, you're like, oh, dude, I'm crushed. But I had to get to the point where I made it for me, right? And it was that process that I fell in love with and that I loved. And if I put it out and people liked it, then it became theirs. And if they didn't, it was something that I still enjoyed doing. So that's probably the biggest passion I have for the songwriting part of it.
It's probably a little weird listening to yourself, isn't it? Like
Super weird.
Even when listening back to these podcasts that we do, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the voice. It's weird, but
I
gotta
never-
say, this is real stuff though. It's good. Like I found it on Spotify. Actually, I think it was 2 nights ago, and like this is real. Like I want our listeners to know, like this is legit music that's out there.
Right. And I appreciate that. But the thing is, like, I didn't want people to like, oh, he's this old ex-NFL player. Now he's like messing around with music. Like this is a real thing for me. It's a real passion for me. And most like I'm approaching it like anything that I've done. Like I'm going all in on this, and I want it to be something that's real. I mean, it's very thought based, right? Like it's not just I'm putting it out there and doing whatever. Like I've been in Nashville recording. I got some rights coming up, you know, with some guys in Nashville that we're trying to work on some things. So I certainly want it to be taken seriously. And if people do listen to it and they like it, I think that's pretty cool. But that being said, there's a lot of work, you know, for me to continue to do creatively. I just want to figure out where I'm at, like, you know, with the sound, just because it's so new to me. And so at that stage of the game, I can continue to really experiment with things and figure out where it goes. So I got more music on the way, and we'll see kind of what it turns into.
Is Cuddy hooking you up with all these connections in Nashville, I hope?
Jay has put me in some pretty good places, and I'm going out probably sometime in January. I just talked to him the other day, and I'm gonna go out there in January again. I got another recording session, but there's some things that we're trying to work on. So hopefully all those connections they come through.
I know it was probably over a year ago, but speaking of Cuddy, you were a TV star for a moment on the on Very Cavallari.
So that's the thing you were talking about, like hearing your voice back and watching stuff. I never listened to interviews. Like when we were doing interviews and stuff in the locker room, I never listened back to any of that stuff. I really don't I mean, I listen to my songs now, but I actually kind of listen to it more like studying tape. And I found out that I can't be as critical as I was on a football field with music, because like music is never like, you can't make it perfect. And if you do, you'll drive yourself crazy. So I don't listen to it often, but I didn't watch that episode either. I just don't like watching myself back on tape or interview. Like, I just don't want to hear it. So
I missed that show. I actually like that show, by the way.
No, I watched it. My wife and I were watching it, and it's like, oh, we're having dinner with the Millers. I was like, hey. I was like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's pointing at the TV. I was like, hey,
look at that guy.
Zach.
I mean, it was so entertaining. And obviously my favorite parts are, when Jay was being featured on there, just because, I mean, if you know him personally and just like his dry sense of humor and how direct he is at some points, just like, yeah, that's it right there. That's what you're going to get. And so I kind of enjoyed watching it back and seeing him do his thing.
So has he reviewed your music for you? Does he critique it like he might like review your routes?
Oh yeah. he's on one of my, he's one of the top dogs on my listening panel. For a reason though, because I know he'll shoot me straight. If it sucks, he'll be like, yeah, that sucks. And he has yet to do that. He's been pretty supportive really in every aspect, which is cool for me, because I was, him and I had a connection early on when we were in Chicago. So his opinion for me carries a little bit of weight, right? Like, I want him to, put in some careful thought, because I know what I'll get back from him. So the first night he stopped over and we were hanging out, had a couple drinks, and he was like, so what's up? And I was like, nothing, man. I just been playing music. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, he's like, what do you mean playing music? And I was like, a guitar and like songs. He's like, your own songs? I was like, yeah. He's like, go get it. So we sat up that night for like hours. I mean, it might have been like 4 a.m. just going through all my originals. And he was like critiquing the hell out of it. Do this, do that, slow down, speed up. And like, we had a whole like a little mini home studio session. And that was kind of the night that I decided that I was probably going to move forward and release a couple of these things, just because he gave me that final push of like, this stuff's actually kind of good.
That's really cool. And it's cool that you've kind of found this, considering, I mean, I think we all feel for the way that your career ended. It was, you, of all the players we've covered, I think you've had the worst injury luck by far of anyone. And so it is cool to just kind of see you having this success and putting the stuff out. You got to work on Cuddy though, because, you got to tell him he can branch out beyond Waddle and Sylvie. He can come on this podcast. It doesn't all have to be about his boy Sylvie. So yeah, just,
and if you ever listen, it's much more his boy Waddle.
Yeah, I should say that.
But yeah,
I will. I'll put the little olive branch out there. Give him a little push that way and see what he says. He's doing cool things, man. He's now doing his podcast. He's always on the run.
Well, Jay's become, we used to joke about the way Jay was with us when he played, and now Jay's Mr. Media Man,
right?
With his own podcast. Which
so
you see that a lot.
Think of that. How he was in the locker room and how guarded he was and the things, I mean, that was a game. He was playing that and keeping everything close to his chest. And he's got his circle that he wants to run with, and that's who he's going to talk to. And everybody else is going to get this much information from him.
That's fine. But you can always hold over him that you won the Media Good Guy Award. Absolutely.
I'm actually going to text him that. I texted him the other day. I was in Chicago and I went through like the run of restaurants that I like to go to, and every one of them was having a private party or, my guy wasn't there. And so I was like, damn, I got to call Jay. So I was like, Jay, I need you to get me a reservation at such and such. And so it's just me by myself, and it was Chicago cut. So he calls David and he actually sent him a text. He's like, hey, David, my guy Zach's in Chicago. You might remember him. He played tight end for us. He's like average at best, like not, maybe caught a couple, but he needs to come in and have dinner for one. And I was like, damn it, Jay, thanks. I appreciate it. So I went to Chicago cut. They plopped me down for a table for one, smack dab in the middle of the dining room, all by myself, just surrounded by everybody else having a damn great night. And I just sat there and had dinner by myself. But
Well,
James,
at least it was a good meal, though. Chicago cut. You're not going wrong.
It worked out well.
Hey, Zach, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. And again, our listeners should check out your music. I know they can find it at zachmiller.hearnow.com. And also, like you said, all over Spotify and wherever you listen to your music. It's all out there. And then again, Sunday, out with Miller Lite. Great opportunity if you're not going to be in Green Bay, if you're just going to be out in the city. Zach's going to be out in the South Loop, West Town, Bucktown, and River North with Miller Lite. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see those sweaters they're going to be handing out. So
right here, man, we're handing these out. We're starting at noon. We're going to go till 8 o'clock. So it's a full day of a bunch of Miller Lite, and I'll drink responsibly. But we're handing out 50 of these, I think, at each location. So get there early, drink responsibly, but drink, and we'll have a hell of a time handing out some Miller Lite gear.
And for more information, follow him on Twitter at ZMiller86. He's on Instagram as well. Zach, thanks so much, man. It's good talking to you.
Appreciate you guys.
We're all trying to eat better, but we're all busy. And eating a healthy breakfast when we're busy in the morning is not easy to do. But now there's Magic Spoon, which has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. And I have to say, it's amazing as a midnight snack right before bed, too. Who doesn't love breakfast before bed? 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, only 140 calories a serving, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And you can build your own box. Available flavors to build your own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. So go to magicspoon.com/Adam to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code Adam at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's back with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/Adam. Use the code Adam to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you, and all plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. With Mint Mobile, choose any amount of monthly data that's right for you and stop paying for data that you never use. You can use your own phone and switch to Mint Mobile, getting premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. For a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan, get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/Hoge. That's mintmobile.com/Hoge, Hoge. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Hoge.
In sports radio these days, there's so many choices when it comes to who to listen to when making your picks. If you missed the biggest sports headlines from the night before, have you ever wondered how that might impact this week's biggest bets? Relive the best in sports from the night before with BetMGM Tonight, presented by BetMGM. We here at Team Hoge Jahns trust BetMGM with all of our picks, and listening to BetMGM Tonight has made that so much easier. Make sure we're up to date on all the latest lines. And honestly, after listening to it, we felt better informed and more confident about making our picks. And that's always good. Plus, let's be honest, picks are just fun. BetMGM Tonight is fun. It's high energy. It's your live destinations for both casual and hardcore sports fans alike. Hosts Quentin Mayo, Ryan Horvat, and Trista Crick are joined by on-site correspondents to bring you the latest insider information in real time. Every detail matters when making bets. BetMGM Tonight dives deeper to help you get the edge. It's fun to bet on the game, but it's even more fun when you've got the inside scoop. Tune in to BetMGM Tonight, presented by BetMGM. Listen on Odyssey, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. That's BetMGM Tonight on Odyssey, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Hey, I want to tell you about Masterclass, where you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. There's so many great classes. You can take a basketball class with Steph Curry, where he teaches shooting, ball handling, and scoring. If you're into poker, you can learn from Phil Ivey or Daniel Negreanu. Even Tony Hawk teaches skateboarding on Masterclass. And those are just a few examples of the sports classes. With over 100 classes from a range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. I like to cook, and there's a great Texas barbecue class on Masterclass. I like to play the ukulele. There's a ukulele class. You can get into guitar with Carlos Santana. There's so much you can learn. So here's a great opportunity to get into Masterclass. This holiday, give one annual membership and get one free. Go to masterclass.com/firstdown today. That's masterclass.com/firstdown. Terms apply. Okay, Kevin, I'm not sure if I should have done it or not. I was really tempted, though, to play this.
Hello, everyone. This is Al Rivron.
I don't know how that would be received.
I think he would have. I think he would have gotten a kick out of it.
I mean, it triggers me, so I can only imagine what it would do to Zach Miller. I still feel awful about that whole thing.
Yeah, that was so. I mean, just as a human, that was upsetting. Just
Yes.
to watch that. Like you didn't have to be a fan or a reporter or anything. You just get you see it happen. You get the context, and you learn like that was how his career ended. And we were talking about this off the air. The Bears almost won that game.
Yeah,
Like it was a game nobody gave him a shot in. Understandably so. It was a terrible team in New Orleans against Drew Brees. Remember Mitch had like a 50-yard run
Oh yeah.
in that game. And like it was a great throw. It was a great catch. It was a catch, which Al Rivron later admitted. It was like a year and a half later.
Did he?
Didn't he count? Remember we were at the owners' meetings and he was asked with the new catch rule. I think you asked him.
Oh,
You asked him with the new catch rule, would Zach Miller's touchdown have been a catch?
oh yes. That now I
Because
remember that.
they did change
Yeah.
the catch rules after that year, and he said he just said yes and didn't say anything else because he knows. He knows.
But that's why it was so insulting for him to put that video out. Like Zach Miller, you just
terrible.
heard him talking to us. He's laying in a hospital bed, and wondering about his like entire future. At that point, his leg wasn't even safe. And you put out this video literally pointing at a shadow, and you can go back and watch it. I mean, he's trying to justify the call and saying that it was not a catch. And he's pointing at a shadow, saying it's the ball hitting the ground. There's nothing conclusive about it whatsoever. And that was the thing. They overturned it. It was ruled a catch and changed to not a catch with no evidence whatsoever. And it's just like, that would have been a situation where I would have just not done the video. Just like, because that's what they do when they know they're wrong. They don't come out and say they're wrong. So for them to put out a video still trying to claim that they are right.
Hello, everyone. This is Al Rivron.
Ugh. Pain.
There's nothing stopping the NFL right now for coming out and retroactively ruling it a touchdown.
I think they should.
Yep.
Does that mean the Bears win the game though?
Well, they lost. I think they lost by 7, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I want
that
to
was
say
a
it
tough-
ended up being 10 by the end.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
tough locker room. I mean, everyone was just understandably just down.
Well, right, because Zach's one of those guys that like the whole locker room loves.
Yeah.
And everybody understood the injury problems he'd already had in his career. And to finally get there to a level where he was playing so well. And it was a great catch. Like that's the other part. It wasn't just like a walking touchdown. Like it was a really good catch, and it was a good ball by Mitch.
It was all there.
It's all there. All right, it is time to dive into this game, Bears and Packers. Kevin's here, so he has the 3 questions.
Question 1. Hoge, so I'm thinking about Justin Fields. And everything's about him. Everything's about his development moving forward. You want to see progress. You want to see him take these steps. You want to see things that you can tell yourself at the end of the year, okay, the Bears drafted the right guy, if for some reason you don't think that, and I'm seeing that he's making the type of improvement. So what are you concerned about? Like, what are you worried about in terms of the way the Bears are going to scheme up this game and like what it could mean for Justin Fields?
What?
Or I could turn that positively. What do you want to see the Bears scheme up now that Justin Fields is back in the lineup in terms of, trying to win this game, but also you want to see him progress?
I think what's so frustrating about this whole thing is that like you just heard Zach talk to us about all the pieces on this offense. And I agree with them. Like, I'm high on Justin Fields. David Montgomery is already a really good player. Like a really good player. Okay. We know Allen Robinson's a good wide receiver. What is going on with this season that he's having? Even when he was healthy before, didn't make any sense. Darnell Mooney's obviously a starting caliber wide receiver. I still like overall what Cole Kmet can do, even though he had that bad game. He had a good game the week before that. There's pieces here. They should be getting more out of this. And that's where it's, so when you ask me what worries me, it's just like, it worries me still in this offense. Why is this offense always like dead last or close to dead last in the league?
Sometimes I talk about your guys, the podcast you guys compete with us often, the Bill Simmons podcast.
Yeah, that's usually it's the Bill Simmons podcast and then us number 2.
Right. So, I think one of Bill Simmons's phrases over the years has been like the kitchen sink game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you would think like this is your kitchen sink game.
Just throw it all out there.
Yeah, you're in like because this is one of those games where like if the Bears win this game, we talk about this game 5 years from now the way that we talk about that Thanksgiving game we talked about with Zach Miller. Now it might be a little different because that 2015 core did not really become much, right? But this core could become something down the line, especially with Fields. But I'm not saying this is like a save your job type of game, but this is a game where you, like everything you have in your playbook, like every not necessarily trick play, but every creative thing you can think of, you give anything you can think of that would help highlight what Justin Fields can do well for you. Whether it's running, getting him outside the pocket lane, just launch it downfield. Hogue, sometimes when you throw a deep ball, you don't complete it, but you get a pass interference call.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you should be trying for that, but that happens sometimes.
Also,
and when you don't throw the ball downfield, you can't get that.
Also, you get the safeties creeping back because they know you tried it. Sometimes you got to try it. Hey, Dan Bernstein asked me this last week, actually, about, just throwing everything in the playbook out there. We kind of saw it with the Bob Dabrowski double deluxe or whatever he calls that play. Double cheeseburger, double deluxe, I think is the name of the call.
Anyway, who cares?
Just saying. All right, question number 2.
Question 2. Would you have Jalen Johnson shadow Devontae Adams again, even when Devontae Adams is playing the slot?
So is this question coming from, this is what he did the first time in this matchup,
Yes.
and the results
Yes.
were kind of mixed, right?
Yeah, Adams had 2 huge catches. 2 of his 4 catches were like game-changing plays.
Yeah.
And they're both from the slot. And I think the second one, which was kind of like the game-clinching one, Johnson admittedly like made an error on that.
See, here's the thing, though. He's really doing that for the first time.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really done that since.
No, he shadowed Hopkins, but it was weird. We talked about last game was kind of weird.
Well, yeah, they use Adams more out of the slot than I think the Cardinals use Hopkins out of the slot. My instinct is to just keep him on Adams. And I'm going to give you a very selfish reason. I have a thing for wide receiver cornerback matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And especially ones within the division that you get to see a lot. Like my first reaction to rewatching the game Monday was, man, I wish DeAndre Hopkins was in the division, which is a weird thing to say, but it's because I want to see that matchup more. I always go back to the Charles Tillman Megatron games. Like, they're the best. You go back and watch those like, that was a rivalry within a rivalry. And so if we get more,
what you're saying is Xavier Crawford against Devontae Adams doesn't do it for you?
not doing it for me. No. Not feeling that as a rivalry that's going to be around for a while. Jalen Johnson versus Devontae Adams? Yes. So let's see it. Even if it goes wrong a couple times, if he holds him to 4 catches again, that's a good game. It's a good game.
All right, so my third question, we kind of touched on this with the idea of the kitchen sink on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to change it up a little bit. If the Bears are actually going to win, okay, like, what has to happen? Like, do they have to do the 2015 where it's just like you happen to get a bad Rodgers game and you just happen to have great coverage all night long? Or is it one of those games where your offense like just finds a way to play shot for shot with Rodgers, and maybe you get the one stop or one takeaway that you need, and your offense is just on tilt? Like, I'm trying to figure out like how, because I don't have faith in either of those things happening based on what we've seen from this team, but you need one of those things to happen. I'm also not even going to say special teams, because in 2014, Chris Williams did have a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Didn't really matter. But, you know, special teams, a big special teams play could help. But like, I'm just trying to figure this out in my head, and maybe it's a waste of time, but like do you think they're more likely to win this game on their defense, or they're more likely to win this game on their offense if they're actually able to pull it off?
Well, this is going to be a cop-out, but the only possible answer is both.
Yeah.
Because I've thought about, there were signs of the offense doing some good things. I think we've said that a lot in some games. But like last week, like, they moved the ball. They had the turnovers killed them. Absolutely killed them. But they were moving the ball. I think if you actually take a step back and look what was going on with the headsets and all that nonsense, and it's actually kind of impressive how they got through that. Like, the calls were getting in, the plays were being run, they were having some success. Like, so the question is, can Justin Fields take it to another level? I was very encouraged with how he was playing against the 49ers and Steelers before he got hurt. Now, he wasn't playing well against the Ravens before he got hurt, but we kind of knew that was going to be a weird, exotic blitz type game, and we also don't know how long he was playing hurt. Was that affecting him? I don't know. He doesn't know when he got hurt. But then I just keep going back to the defense, and I'm like, but how is the defense going to prevent like what happened last year, when how many points did the Packers have by halftime? Like, that wasn't
too many.
Yeah, it wasn't a very close game. And I'm like, trying to look at reasons that it could be okay. I don't know. Is this defense better off right now than it was last year? They still gave up 33 points to the Cardinals. I know a lot of that was turnovers, but
yeah, I'm saying you need Hicks and Quinn to just dominate. They have to absolutely dominate. And you know that Aaron Rodgers is sitting there on the other side being like, I'm going to make sure I do everything I can to not let 96 and 94 wreck this game. And he's like, I'm not going to let 33, make a play. I'm only going to target him, because I remember Deshae Townsend told us, I think they only targeted Jalen Johnson like once or twice when he was outside. Like, they didn't even bother.
Yeah.
It was only in the slot. So like, that's the way Rodgers plays. So it's so hard to see the defensive side of this scenario. Like, what can they possibly do? But you need your stars. You need Roquan Smith, Akeem Hicks, Robert Quinn, and Jalen. You know what? You need Eddie Jackson, right? Like, you need Eddie Jackson to finally make a play on the ball. And you know that Rodgers is going to look for number 4 and not throw near him.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I'm with you. I think it needs to be like, I think for them to win this game, it's like 27-24, where that the offense does some really good things and the defense bends but doesn't break, and gets like a crucial stop. I can't even believe I made this the third question. What are we talking about here?
That's the thing. They got to play a perfect game. And they don't do that. They find different ways to lose every single week. We can look at the matchups. We can predict what's going to happen. And then they do something different. They always find a way to lose. That's what they do.
Here you go, Hoge. The Bears are 12.5-point underdogs, I believe, still.
Yes.
That is the biggest Vegas deficit they've faced since 2017. Since 1980, they are 1-14 as 12-plus point underdogs. That one win, 24-22 over the Vikings in 1999. And that's not even getting into the fact that just as a 7-point underdog, the Bears have lost 9 in a row. And they're 1-8 against the spread in those 9 games. This team has completely floundered as an underdog the past 3 seasons under Matt Nagy.
I think the most amazing thing I took out of all that was that they've only been 12.5-point underdogs or worse 15 times since 1980.
Every single time was on the road.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we might as well make our predictions then. I will take the Packers to win.
Wow.
Bold predictions.
You know what, Jerry? I am very tempted to say the Bears cover, though. I think they're getting enough guys healthy. I still think they're fighting like I did, They didn't get trounced by the Cardinals. It wasn't ugly. It wasn't great either. But they were in that thing. If Andy Dalton doesn't throw that pick right after the O'Donnell gets roughed, the punter gets roughed, that's a 10-point game and the Bears have the ball at that point. He throws the pick and then the Cardinals score right away. I'm just saying, they were in that game in the second half. So I don't know if it's backdoor. Maybe that'll be my bold prediction, that the Bears cover. Can that be a bold prediction? I still think this line's a little low.
Am I supposed to pick the game now?
Yeah, if you want to. Otherwise, you could just, I don't know. You could pass. I don't know if we do that here. Pass.
Packers 41, Bears 20. No, you know Bears. What? I think, what did the Bears score? 22 points last week?
The Bears scored 22 points. Yes, they did.
I'm gonna give the Bears 23 points. I think that they will get enough of a spark from Justin Fields that they will get 23 points, which for the 2021 Bears is borderline miraculous. So I'm gonna go Packers 41, Bears 23.
Okay. Do you have a bold prediction?
My bold prediction is Justin Fields throws a 20-plus yard touchdown pass.
Okay. Who catches it?
A player on the Bears.
Jakeem Grant.
Ooh. Yeah. By the way,
you didn't say 20-plus air yards. It could.
That's true.
It could be a little dump down to Jakeem Grant. He goes.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a Damiere Byrd bold prediction, I believe, against leading to the Baltimore game, and he flew. He got open against like a zero blitz. Dalton just missed him. It was right there.
Yep.
Yeah. No, yeah. Fields, let's throw 20-plus yard passing touchdown for Justin Fields in this game. It won't be enough, but I just think that I'm not expecting, when I say 41-23, because I think last year was 41-25 was the final score, which looked a lot better than it was. I think this will look fine. I think like the Bear, I'm not, maybe this is some wishful thinking for those of us who have to work the game, that it won't be an embarrassment.
See what you did there. Embarrassment. All right. We got to go to house. We got stuff to do. Let's fly through these other games real quick if we can.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
All right. Fox 7:20 Thursday. Oh, we're going to do a Thursday game because it's the Vikings. So this is tonight. If you're listening Friday, apologize. You can hear our wrong predictions. That obviously didn't happen, but here they are if you're listening on Thursday. Steelers at Vikings. The Vikings are 3-point home favorite coming off that loss to the Lions.
nobody knows how to pick the Vikings. I mean,
I know.
I looked at them like, oh, Steelers without a doubt, so I'm going to pick the Vikings.
Okay, I'm going to pick the Steelers. I do think the Vikings bounce back, but we're going to learn a lot about the Vikings. This could be the game that really determines Mike Zimmer's future. Because if they come back and they just completely lay an egg after what happened Sunday, bye-bye. The Vikings just playing these close games all the time. It's going to come down to a field goal. It always does. So if they're the ones that are giving up 3 points, then I am going to take the Steelers. Right? It's just that's more the reason than anything else. So there you go.
How's everyone doing? This is Nick Foles. Just entered the meeting.
Fox noon, Cowboys at Washington. Washington, a 4-point underdog, I should say. How many games? Haven't they won like 5 games in a row or something? 4?
Yeah, it seems like a big number. I'll take Washington to cover that.
Yeah, at home in a rivalry game. I'm kind of with you on that. I like the Cowboys a lot, but 4 points the way. But this will be the game where the Cowboys just like go off and win by 10.
I was just
they're
saying,
clearly
like
the better team.
The Cowboys haven't been like the Cowboys they were earlier in the season for a couple of weeks, but maybe this is their get right game.
I feel like
Washington,
the smart pick though is Washington.
Let down coming off that big Raiders win. Charles Leno is giving it to the Raiders faithful as he walked off the field. Props to Charles Leno, having a good year. I know everyone is going to talk about what happened in week 1, which is fair, but he's having a good season.
Yeah, he's always been a solid player.
Do your research.
CBS 325, Bills coming off that loss to the Patriots. Now they got to play the other Patriots, Tom Brady and the Bucs. The Bucs are a 3.5-point home favorite in this one.
Yeah, I feel like this is a field goal game, maybe, but I don't know what to say about the Bills. Yeah. I feel like Vegas, like we keep thinking that they're better than they are. Like, look, I was all over in the beginning of the season, and they looked the part after that Steelers loss. They started just wrecking teams, but I don't know. I like the Bucs here, but I guess the Bills could lose by 3, so maybe the Bills cover.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills. I mean, I'm sorry, I'll take the Bucs. I don't like how the Bills are playing. Maybe they'll bounce back, but I don't know. It's Tom Brady. 3. Yeah, I'll still take the Bucs at 3.5.
No, don't care.
All right, CBS Monday night. It's a good one. Rams at Cardinals. Cardinals are a 2.5-point favorite.
I know it was a weird game, but I'm kind of impressed by the Cardinals. And
they're good.
The Rams beat up on the Jags last week, but the Rams have not been good the 3 or 4 games leading up to that. The Cardinals blew them out in LA. I'll take Arizona here. I thought this would be at least more than a field goal. So give me Arizona.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised it's as low as it is. I think it's an overreaction to what the Rams did against a bad Jaguars team. So I will also take the Arizona Cardinals. All right, we got to get out of here. We got to go to House Hall. Appreciate everybody listening, watching. Appreciate Zach Miller, our producer, Kent Garrison. A lot of good stuff on the podcast today. I think it'll be you and me in Green Bay on Sunday. So post-game episode coming from Lambeau Field on Sunday night after we kind of know what's going to happen. Kind of just sorry. Maybe they'll surprise. Maybe they'll give us a Zach Miller game. I don't know. But kind of know what they do. It is what it is. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at K Fishbain. You can still follow Johnsy at Adam Johns. And read those guys on The Athletic, theathletic.com/Hoge Jahns. You can read me at NBCSportsChicago.com. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and watch us there. We appreciate everybody. You can find the merch, obviousshirts.com. We'll talk to you Sunday after the game.
See you.
Hello, everyone. This is Al Riveron.